Hello, Samford fans. Welcome into the 2018 Samford Soccer Season Preview. I'm John McAfoose, and I'm joined by Samford head coach Todd Yelton. Coach, thanks for taking the time.
No problem. Happy to be here.
Let's start by talking about some of the production that you've lost from last year, and two of the players I kind of want to single out are Caitlin Orman, who was such a presence in the midfield, and of course the school's all-time leading scorer, Jermaine Cio-Pasenwe. When you lose two players of that caliber, how do you begin to replace their production and their leadership?
Well, I think the biggest challenge there is with Caitlin's leadership, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I've had a lot of captains. I don't know that I'd place very many ahead of her. She's was fantastic, led by example, just a tremendous leader for us. And so we certainly miss that. I think it's like most things with this group this year, it's probably, by committee is what we have. And that would also be true with losing Jermaine. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever coach a better player than Jermaine. She was pretty fantastic, but I think the thing that you begin to realize is that we won a lot of trophies before Jermaine got here, and Caitlin for that matter. And I think those are what the expectations are here, and I fully expect that this group will have a chance to do that as well.
On the back line, everybody's coming back for you, and you've got a couple of preseason All-SoCon selections in Allie Laurie and Taylor Meneed.
Right.
You like where your defense is at going into this season?
Yeah, if you look at it, it's a pretty young group, but the amount of minutes they logged last year definitely prepared them for this year. And I think we look at it, the strength of the team, because they have played so many minutes and they've played in a lot of really big games, SEC opponents and in really tough SoCon matches. So I think you'd have to say coming back this season that it would have to be the foundation for the group, and they continue to just get better and better.
Another big change behind that defense, Anna Maddox no longer in goal. She's really been your primary goalie the last 4 years. So what does the keeper competition look like in camp for you?
Steph and Sarah have done great. I mean, I'm really happy with them. And we'll get Laura back. She's had a concussion, but I think when you look it over, it's always been a strength of our program. I mean, if you look over the history, the number of goalkeepers who've been here are either been first or second team, and even a few that were like All-Americans and stuff. So we expect them to continue to carry the torch in that area, and it's a great competition. I think it's also great camaraderie between the group, and we're still waiting to see who's going to win that battle.
You guys have won at least a share of the SoCon regular season 4 consecutive years. You're picked to win in the preseason coaches poll, and I know the preseason poll maybe doesn't mean a lot until you go out there and play the games.
Right.
But what does that mean to you to get that respect from your fellow coaches?
The coaches in this league, it's really not their first rodeo, right? They've done this a while, and they've had great success. I mean, you can look no further than like even G last year, who lost 1-0 in the first round of the NCAA tournament to Duke, who was a great program. I clearly question, them from a standpoint of losing all the things that we've lost, and still they picked us one, which I think is a great honor, and it's incredibly flattering. But I think there's 9 other schools that are going to want to have something to say about that. So I'm really more concerned about where we end up than where we're at right now.
You already got an exhibition under your belt and against a pretty good opponent in Murray State, picked to win the OVC. Also won the OVC last year. You go on the road, you come away with a 2-1 victory. What did you see in that game?
Well, it was a really hard game because the conditions were difficult. It was really, really hot. And so, it really measured kind of a toughness factor for us. And I think, when you kind of look at it, you kind of have to squeeze yourself a little bit to find out what's really inside there. And so for this group, I think they responded well. I mean, Murray finished 28th in the country last year in the RPI. They graduated a few good players, but they still have the bulk of that squad back. So we're probably further ahead than I thought we'd be at this point in time, but there's still plenty of work to do as we get ready for Auburn, on Thursday.
Coach, appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you.
Samford will open its season Thursday night, hosting Auburn at the Samford Track and Soccer Stadium at 7 p.m. I'm John McAfoose, and this has been your Samford Soccer Preview.